we mostly go off of like customer feedback and creator feedback. We mostly care, obviously, because we make prefabs for developers. We care about, hey, what do developers want? It's surprisingly difficult to get responses on what developers want because we need specifics, right?
Hmm.
Um, or even if we don't get specifics, we need a general kind of theme or idea. For instance, the admin ban menu, that was based on the idea that we need to manage people when you're in a world.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion. There's no Raptor today. He's currently doing things with his family, but we are here joined by a wonderful guest. Who are you?
Hello, I'm Par. I'm founder of HashStudios,
Oh,
and
Hi, I'm
oh,
Cookie, the best cookie.
the best cookie. Sorry, I lost.
the best cookie.
My camera left. Decided to go on an adventure, apparently.
No, you're good. You're good. It had to find the best cookie.
Oh, I found the best cookie. Right there.
Right there.
Well, thank
Uh,
the both of you coming on. Par is a repeat guest, so it's what have you guys been up to, and would you mind explaining what HashStudios is?
yeah, sure. So, HashStudios is a software company. If you do any kind of Udon development or world development or programming, you've probably seen us on Booth or Gumroad. Essentially, we make Udon software and sometimes shaders for world developers to kind of go ahead and create whatever VRChat worlds they want.
Oh,
So that's our like whole gimmick, basically. Our whole idea is that development is difficult, and we want to make development easy, specifically for VRChat.
oh. So I know nobody does the what are you known for and stuff, but we'll just get to know the cohort, one we've never met before. What got you into VRChat, and how did you join HashStudios?
I'm still
Oh,
pretty recently. Can you hear me? I'm still pretty new to the whole VR scene, but Hari here actually got me into it. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's super fun. Very, everyone's super friendly. Great place to meet people." And because I'm kind of I guess you can call a nerd that likes to stay indoors, so I can't really talk to many people. So here I am.
Oh,
I got into I got into Hash mainly to kind of see where we can go. It's we want to achieve a lot of things, but I know that we need a team to do that. So that's why we decided to partner up and yeah, see how it goes.
oh.
yeah.
Pretty
You
excited.
can you can think of Cookie
Well,
as
kind
the
of
like
yeah. I handle the boring stuff basically. He
he
gets to have
handles
the
the boring.
fun and do the
He
marketing,
basically handles all the
and
boring stuff.
I handle all the behind the scenes work. So yeah, he's the face of it. I'm kind of the guy that kind of makes sure everything's running. So
Mhm.
Oh,
We have like
uh,
a cool relationship where it's like I'm mostly doing the visuals and the marketing, and he's doing the financing, accounting, management. So it's a good system because in any kind of business, there needs to be systems, management, money, everything in place, and also technicals. We're a software company. Not only do we deal with Udon software, but we want to kind of streamline the process and make everything quick and easy. But the issue is Udon software can only go so far. We can only do so much with Unity, and Cookie is a amazing help in terms of managing our technicals and making things super easy.
oh. So how did you rope Cookie
So,
into doing the stuff you didn't want to do while you're laughing, having fun, they're staring at numbers?
so you see, I told him that if he
he
didn't
held me
do it, I
hostage.
would. I threatened him actually.
Yeah, exactly. I was at gunpoint. I was at gunpoint. He gave me no choice. He said, "Sign your life away here now, or you don't get to live." So here I am.
You
Yeah,
poor
and that
soul.
worked for like a few months.
I know. I know. I'm getting paid pennies. Pennies.
For just one
I'm
simple
the greedy
payment
CEO,
of
stealing it
whatever is
all.
on Booth or Gumroad, you too can help a cookie make a little money.
It's just a
I
pity
accept
play.
donations and forms of subscribers.
We don't pay him for work. We give him experience. All right, so
Um,
It's starting to sound like a funky internship scam. Well,
exactly.
I'll ask this much: what have you
Uh,
been up to since we met first a while back, and what have you been up to and doing since then?
so I'm gonna take it back. Since you last time you saw us, we just started, releasing software. We have we had a logo set up, we had our some visuals set up, but it was very scrappy. A lot of it was kind of just run by me, right? A lot of it was me managing the legal stuff and the basic marketing. But we're 2 years into this company, and I think we've made so much progress. It's insane
Oh wow.
in terms of what we've got now. We've streamlined the process. We've made way more prefabs. I think we're up to 32 in terms of how many products we've made.
Oh wow.
We've have now it's not just me, and it's not just me and Cookie either. It is like a massive team. We have, well, I wouldn't say massive. I'd say like a good mid-range team. We have two marketers on our team, along with some collaborators. We have a few like Udon developers, people that are just specifically working on the Udon software for us.
Oh wow.
And we're just kind of paying multiple people. We have like a whole team to kind of streamline this process and make everything easy. So releasing a product and how it looks is way more different to how it was, let's say, a year ago. It's similar, but it's way more improved because everything's, with a team. We're all getting feedback. We're focusing more on what customers say. We have a big thing actually is our Discord community. We didn't have a Discord community back then, but now we have one.
Oh wow. So what led to all of these changes from getting a team, and were you filed as a company beforehand, or was that also a new recent endeavor?
But sorry, what did you say for that last question?
Were you before like an official company, like signed up in paperwork and all that, or is that a recent endeavor?
No, we were an official company. We were registered, and we have a trademark and everything since we started. I'm very big on brand management, at least, because that's me on the marketing side. But you know, it was still just solo company with me and maybe one other person working on it. It wasn't necessarily as big as it is now. Now it's more streamlined. We have documentation. We have way more plans of what to do in the future too. So
Oh wow.
it's kind of the main difference.
Cool. So what are some of the products you guys have available, and how have they changed from when you were doing it when we first met to what you're creating now? How has the products changed over time?
Sure. Uh, essentially, when we were working on the first products, they were as simple as we can make it, because it was also at a time where I'm learning on development, even though me and Cookie both have programming experience. It was specifically like, hey, how does Udon work? How do we make this simplified? How do all these key features work? At this point, we've kind of pinned it down. Besides the recent updates, in which things are a lot more easily understandable. Things are way more streamlined. We literally have chunks of code for different functions that we want to do, and a big part, at least for someone buying from us, is that we have custom editors now. Essentially, you go ahead and you buy the product. You don't need to edit anything in the inspector in any regular Unity prefab. Essentially, we have a custom menu. We have buttons. You have different categories and sections, and every single thing is kind of listed out for you to understand.
Oh wow.
If you see, like, say, a game object transform, or let's say an image, right? An image slot, you would have to normally go ahead and be like, oh man, what does this even do? Right? You'd have to go on the store page or find it out and be like, ah. But with us, boom, it's right there in English and in Japanese for you to just kind of understand, oh, this image does this. I think it simplifies the process a lot.
Oh, it does simplify. It does seem that way. So wow, I didn't realize you guys have gone that far. What has been some of your more favorite products you've worked on and that have been released now, man? Both of you, actually.
Yeah. For me, it was because again, Cookie does more of the background stuff, but in terms of I'd say marketing, one of my favorites is the recent admin ban menu, which is essentially a menu that lets you kind of ban whoever you want. We've heard from many club owners and creators, hey, we need to be able to kick people, and we need to be able to ban them even if they, let's say, rejoin, or even if they're not part of our group or whatever. And we were like, okay, let's just have a system that lets you easily manage people, and you can teleport people or you can teleport to them. And so that was a really fun one, especially the advertising for that was pretty fun. We got the videographer to go ahead and record shots of him like shaking in like a jail, asking like begging for help, and we managed to put that inside of the thumbnail. So that's why it's a pretty fun one for me.
Oh. What about you, Cookie?
Things I'm working on are still under development, so I don't really have something to show for it. But I do have a couple really cool things that I've built because a lot of our infrastructure is on the cloud.
Hmm.
So I'm working on mainstream, just kind of streamlining everything, making it so every time you upload code or deploy something, you don't even have to touch anything. It automatically publishes it and puts it into the servers.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
hands off, so hands free. It frees up a lot of time, and we're able to get a lot more done quickly. Especially with like new features, new functionality, and working on like our. Can I mention the app?
You mentioned it, yeah.
So yeah, we're also releasing out. Well, I'm in the process of bootstrapping our own app. It's going to be
Oh, wow.
available for Android, iOS, and web. So I am in the background doing, kind of working my wizardry there. Nothing to see yet.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Well, let us know when it releases, and we'll help push it out a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
of course.
So,
Yeah, we'll definitely let you know.
so with this app, what are you hoping to do with that mask? What is it going to be?
We kind of want to keep it under wraps for now. We're still
Ah.
still in development. Everything can change essentially. But the entire idea is that when we've as creators ourselves have realized like, hey, how do we get feedback on content, right? How do you get feedback on, let's say, or one of our products that we develop? We can do a normal survey, but that's pretty boring. And we can do like, a regular upload or a Google form, and that's pretty cool too. But it's not streamlined. Can't easily make it. You can't easily manage it, and you can't easily view information on it. So that's kind of what our app is currently trying to do.
Ah.
It's the general theme. The idea is feedback for creators.
Oh, so it'd be more than just for just you. It'd be whoever wants to use it.
Yeah, that's the idea. Again, no promises. We don't want to, you're like, yeah, 100%. This is 100% the idea because things can fail, things can change. We can be like, hey, actually, people really want this extra feature or this new thing. But that's the overall goal.
Okay. Well, that seems really exciting. So working on projects like the ones mentioned before, what is it like for you and the team going from earlier on, you and maybe one other person, to now having a team of people? How much in the building process has changed, and how does it feel to watch this grow and flourish?
The building process is interesting because it grows as the company grows and as things happen. We have to change systems. So, for instance, right, instead of just me hopping on a random call with a contractor, now it's like, hey, this is a scheduled time for when we're both free, because now suddenly my time is very taken up because of how many contractors there are. Or, for instance, instead of like me making the product and then just getting some advertising, now we have someone working on the advertising and the background of the product, and I work on the more polish stuff like that. It went from me being a majority of the piece of the puzzle to me being like 1/3 to 1/4 of it.
Ah. So how's it feel watching everything grow to where it is now from when we last spoke?
It's great. I'm really happy with it. It makes me feel like, this can be something really big. This is something that can help a lot of creators. Uh, I know how difficult it is to go ahead and create with Unity and to go. I've been a game developer for at least 2 to 3 years now at this point, and I totally understand the struggle. So to kind of know that we can keep investing and working on this and improving everything for everyone, it's a nice feeling. It's an amazing feeling to like go to a world, you see like random friend or random like friend of friend that's like, hey, by the way, like, oh my god, are you HashStudios? Did you know that I used your product for this world? And I'll be like, yo, no way. Oh, that's amazing. Can I see it? because it's just so amazing to kind of be like, oh my god, I'm actually really, what we do here at this company really helps people.
Oh wow. So what have been some of your favorite I'd say buyer interactions or audience interactions with some of your products, either seeing what they in the world or how they responded to you? Have either of you had any favorite interactions or uses?
One of my favorite ones is with Shopao, the world creator, and that's because it was still when we were relatively early. And it was hilarious because I met him at a VRChat event, and he was like, "Oh my god, wait, did you make the water?" I'm like, "What water?" He's like, "The HashStudios water. You made that?" I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You used it?" Because again, at that time we were small. The idea that someone used it, someone I could even see, is kind of like amazing. It's kind of like you see your viewers that watch your YouTube videos in real life kind of thing. It's like, oh my god, it's not just like, it's not just a number on a screen. It's really someone. Like, because we've had communities and we've had people that we partner with, and that I expect them to kind of like really like our products, or kind of, or not expect, but I expect it to help them out. But to see a random person be like, oh my god, I've used your thing and it's helped me out, I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Whoa. Do you have any, Cookie?
Not yet.
Okay.
Nope.
Cool. Okay.
Wait, is your mic off, buddy?
Did not say anything? Is
No.
it still working?
Wait.
My bad. Experiencing technical difficulties. My
okay.
arm is one of the controllers
Is
died.
it dead?
It's okay.
Oh, man.
It wouldn't be
Oh, no.
VR
Hopefully
without
it's okay, yeah.
problems. You know what? One of my favorite things that happened to me during mid episode once is way back a while. We were talking with a friend of ours who's a dancer, and midway through, I decided to make a joke. I put one or both of my legs in the air, and midway through, my tracker decided now's a great time to freeze, and then VRChat crashed. So in the recording, you just see my legs in the air, frozen in place, while Raptor and my friend were pulling wisecracks in the background. So VR is not VR without problems. That's
I think you mean the animation trigger. That wasn't your leg. That was
you
the
mean this animation trigger?
Yeah, that animation trigger. Yeah, that's totally an animation trigger. Yes, his all his feet movement is all animations and all triggers. Don't believe him.
Don't tell them my secret. Oh, okay. Oh, so what has your view on your company changed at all from when we first talked to now with growth of team members? And was it easy for you to change your workflow from going with a team as well?
It has a pros and cons, right? If you're doing everything by yourself, it's a lot easier to manage because it's yourself. But at the same time, suddenly there's more opportunity of burnout. Suddenly there's more opportunity of, you getting more sloppy with things. There's no structure. You can kind of create a structure for yourself, but you don't really have to follow it. It requires a lot of discipline. And while that's great and stuff, I think having a team is like 100% like better in my eyes, but some people might disagree. It's the cons. The pros and cons for having a team essentially is just like the pros. You feel like you're a part of something bigger. You feel like you guys are like, there's like a sense of value in what you create and what you're doing. The con is having to manage everyone's schedule. Being like, hey, are you free for this day? Are you free for this day? Are you free for this day?
Oh, okay. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
So with your products that you produce, is there anything, how do you manage all of those files now? May I ask, between all of that, how do you push them, and what kinds of things do you have in place for what you do?
I can't necessarily give out too many specifics,
Fair point.
just because it's internal for the business. But essentially, like, we use a lot of cloud right now, obviously, to share our products. It's not like we're just DMing each other files and stuff. We manage our chats through Discord primarily, just because that's what everyone uses, and that's big with the VRChat space, anyways. And in terms of like where we're going forward, of how we're going to be using software and managing stuff together, actually Cookie can tell you about that for the intranet and stuff.
Or is my mic still broken?
No, you can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Never mind, it's gone. It just broke as you talked.
Cool.
Oh, I can't reach it. Bring it over. Zoom it in.
Okay.
Poke.
Fixed.
There you go.
Yep,
Assuming
we
it's
can hear.
fixed. I'm back. Okay, sorry. I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
Yeah, we can hear
this
you.
Quest is not. It's gonna retire soon. I need to get a new one. All right. What was the question? Sorry.
To be fair, if Charlie should talk about it,
I
that's
w-
probably a really poor question to begin with.
yeah, you did give me the question. I just threw it on him, so I get the confusion. They're asking about like the intranet and stuff. They're asking about specifically like where we're going forward in terms of like managing our files and documentation and everything.
Or maybe
Oh,
even
sweet.
tools you're using, stuff as well. Like the tool sets. Probably a better way to phrase that.
So, to be honest, I actually stole this idea from my work. They have this concept called an intranet.
Admit it on
So-
YouTube, guys. It's okay.
No,
We're
I'm
stealing from other
guilty. I
companies.
am guilty. I am guilty. But there's this concept that they have called the intranet, where it's basically a central place where everything is just like anything you need is just in that one thing. And if you want to learn something or you want to like follow up on something or understand how a system is built like previously, you can just go there and it's basically your own version of Google, but internally. So anything that's like super complicated or super, I guess, under wraps, you can call it. You can kind of dig. It's like a forbidden library of knowledge that's only you can access as and internally. So I really like the idea. So we started building out our own. Still troubleshooting a couple things, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one too. And there's more stealing to come.
Oh.
I'm actually so
More
excited
ideas to
about it.
steal from.
I'm actually so excited about it. I've been bugging him every single day to updates on it. I'm
Oh.
like, hey, is it out yet?
And I'm in the back end just on the. You just imagine me on the terminal just typing away, just like, damn it, there's an error message here.
99 bugs in the
Oh, man.
code. 99 bugs in the code.
There's always bugs in code. I'll be surprised if it works first time. It's
Yeah,
a shocker.
me
It's a
too.
miracle.
Me
Oh.
too. Sometimes people say that, hey, this computer's not working and the computers don't like me. It's like, yeah, I'm the technical guy and it also doesn't work for me either. Don't worry, you're not the only one.
So, what
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
products does HashStudios have to offer? And over the years, and what has been new since we talked?
I do want to go back on the
Oh,
bit about the tooling as well
of course.
after this.
Sorry
I
about
guess.
that. No, start with that first. I apologize.
No, you're good. Okay. No worries. You're good. In terms of tools for like what else we use, we have like documentation we have public documentation for our prefabs now.
Oh, wow.
We've realized that, we have YouTube tutorials and we have advertisements, but things change. VRChat changes, Unity changes, a lot of stuff changes. So we now have a official like development documentation that people can go to and just kind of read up on our prefabs or anything that we make. Like, oh, that's what changed, or oh, here's a specific in case you want to do this specific feature that a lot of people requested. And it makes life easier on my part and the developer's part.
I'm sure it is.
I think it's great.
Oh, well, I have a question actually based on that. How is it trying to keep up with the updates for products, like when VRChat does things? Is it something your team can easily accomplish, or is it can be difficult sometimes? How do you guys keep up with 32 separate updates of things?
We don't. No, it's rough. It's very
It's the
rough.
truth.
The more products we add, the bigger the pile. And It's the thing is, some products don't need changes and some products do, and it depends on, hey, did we get feedback on this part that this thing's broken, or hey,
Hmm.
do we think that we can upgrade this feature, or is one of our, do we not have enough ideas of what to make in the future, or do we just feel like this one needs improving?
Hmm.
So it's kind of tough. It's definitely tough to keep updating the page, but I made it as simple as I could on our end to at least update that development documentation.
Okay. And what with the development documentation you mentioned, what caused that to be incorporated to what you do?
It was the, like, because now we have bug reports on our Discord server.
Ah.
It was the bug reports of me realizing, like, hey, whoa, there's a bunch of bug reports that, like, apparently only one of 100 people mentioned for some reason, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel so bad. The 100 people bought the product, but one person's coming up to me about this one issue. And even if it's a critical issue, I'm like, how did no one come to me about this? So that's where we're kind of like, hey, even if you have an old version, here's documentation on it.
Okay. Whoa.
So
So now, when the moment you incorporated that, is that with all your products or from that product forward when you developed documentation?
it's with all our products. Every single product has documentation, except for one of them, which I literally updated yesterday. So all of them have documentation now.
Oh, wow. Oh, so how many products, what are the products you have, may I ask? And how has your choice in creating something changed? How do you choose what you make?
We mostly go off of, like, customer feedback and creator feedback. We mostly care, obviously, because we make prefabs for developers. We care about, hey, what do developers want? It's surprisingly difficult to get responses on what developers want because we need specifics, right?
Hmm.
Um, or even if we don't get specifics, we need a general kind of theme or idea. For instance, the admin ban menu, that was based on the idea that we need to manage people when you're in a world.
Hmm.
But you'd be surprised how many ideas, like, we throw at ourselves and we're like, hey, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. But then after creation or in production, we're like, oh man, actually, this doesn't seem like A, it's possible in Udon, or B, that it's something feasible or useful, even after we make it.
Hmm.
So we generally have, like, categories,
Hmm.
right? We have, like, oh, is it an item prefab? Is it a menu prefab? Is it a management prefab? And that's kind of how we go around it. It's kind of how we decide it. But overall, it's mostly just based on, especially our communities, the amazing communities that work with us. It's mostly based on what they say, because
Oh,
they're the ones that's constantly giving us feedback on stuff.
oh, wow. So once you get an idea for feedback, how do you incorporate or test such an idea? Do you guys build the product first, then test it, or do you do some little smaller adjustments or things?
We test out, like, the basics. So for instance, like, hey, can you go ahead and showcase your face and save a photo of your avatar, like, in a location within VRChat? That's like a small piece of a bigger prefab, for instance. We'll test out that one small thing with just our contractors and developers, like, for like a week or two.
Oh, okay. And what is some of your most used products since of what you have available?
The free ones. Those are the those are the biggest ones, of course. But the other ones are, especially, like, for instance, posters, right? For showcasing any people that pay you on Patreon or VIPs. Another one would be uh, it's not the man menu. It is, I'm trying to remember. I believe it's the world disclaimer. It's where you hop into a world, and it's a club, and they're like, hey, please put your avatar on this certain level. Go ahead and please you know put your avatar like above very poor. Go ahead and make sure that this is like 18 plus. Only 18 plus are allowed here. Stuff like that. Little disclaimers for people to kind of view. Oh, here's the rules for the world. And by, like, going to press continue, you agree to it.
Oh, okay. Now, we're through your products. Are you surprised that like the world disclaimer and the other one is your most popular? Were you hoping any others would take better?
Definitely, we hope that, like, other prefabs do better, of course. But I kind of expected it to do well too because I've heard so much about that one thing that's I expected it to do well. There's other prefabs though that I have zero clue if they'll do well or not, right? And we've received feedback, but not like widespread feedback, and that's kind of the issue, right? We're kind of making stuff for all developers, not just like few. We make stuff for niches too, like let's say club worlds, but in general, we need way more feedback to be able to be sure, hey, is this going to do well or not?
Okay. Cool. So, what is it like running a company inside of or the VRChat community? And has both of your perspectives of VRChat changed since running HashStudios?
It's because that's like two questions.
Sorry, I'm good at
For
that.
running the company bit, you're good. You're good. Sounds very professional. So no, I don't blame you. For in terms of like running the company, there's a lot of moments where you're like, man, can I even do this? Is this even possible? Right? There's lots of moments of doubt, of success. It's kind of like working on a massive project. Essentially, that's the best way I could kind of describe it. Where there's ups and downs, and there's great things and bad things, and you always got to keep improving. Kind of like a skill.
Okay. And has both of your views of VRChat changed since working in a company for the community or VRChat community builders of sorts?
I think I honestly, no. I think a lot of what I understood about VRChat is very much the same when I joined. Of course, like perspectives have been updated and stuff where I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool that's how this works, or I learned some new information. But in general, the idea that the community always thrives here, you can always expect an amazing creative community in this kind of space. That hasn't changed at all.
Oh, what about you?
Test 1 2 1 2.
Yep.
Everything good? Okay. Initially,
Yeah.
I didn't understand the concept of VR chat in the beginning. I remember Par was telling me about it. I was like, oh, but people just talk. Can't you just do that with your like I guess on social media or like any other platform? What's so special about VR chat? It's just like another another thing. What makes it special? And then as like over time, as I kind of interact with the platform, I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool. You can't really do activities while also communicating and going and exploring and trying new things like other social media platforms can. It kind of helps makes things a little bit more intimate. You're not just looking at a screen. I mean, you technically are. It's in your eyes, but it's a lot more it's a lot more interactive. So overall positive. Initially, I was like kind of skeptical. I was a little skeptical about the platform. I was like, oh, it's kind of like whatever. It's just another thing. But over time, I grew to like it a lot more.
Okay. Well, since you're a lot more newer, Cookie, what were you expecting getting into VRChat, and what are some of the more surprising or pleasant things you have found since coming in?
A negative would be, well, it's me personally. I feel like because people are in an avatar, I don't really know. I can't see their facial reactions that well, right? So I can't see how that person's feeling. So sometimes when you talk and you try to, in a real life scenario, you try to kind of read the room. You can't do that really well inside VR chat. I kind of see by their tone and whatnot, but it's very difficult, I would say. A good thing is I get to stay home. No need to spend money on like a date or you don't have to like go to a movie theater. You can literally watch a movie here, which is like super crazy to me. That's kind of blew my mind. So I was like, yeah, overall, it just blew my, I guess, what's it called, expectations.
Okay. And
He's just happy he doesn't have to see me IRL. All right, listen, he's happy I'm not holding a gun to him.
Oh,
I didn't say all of that.
you implied it.
No, Now, what was some of your first experiences after being convinced by Par here to come into VRChat?
Hello, I'm actually here to interrupt the episode you're watching really quick to ask you a favor. Please come join us at any of the other locations we have. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify, both of which we post our episodes and are very up to date on both. We have Discord where you go to hang out all the time, where you're gaming and shooting the breeze over with many people over that way. Feel free to come join us. I invite you. If you wish to support us, we have a Patreon where we post a bunch of random bits, bobs, and extra podcast every once in a while for you to go enjoy. Also, if you wish to support us while in VRChat, we're now part of the creator economy. So please come join if you wish to support us there. It's there for you to choose if you so wish. And thank you very much. And a special thanks to some of the people who have signed up on our Patreon, which are as follows. And I have written down so I'll remember. And that's a tough thing. Forbidden Zero, Niche, Aliquum, Future Oracle, Lesser Capybara, and Frozen. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Let's see here. First experiences, I would say the first experience was just kind of understanding the different culture, because I wasn't really familiar with like how to like approach someone or how to like talk with. I would accidentally, because I'm trying to getting used to everything, I would accidentally walk into them, and Par would scream at me, be like, no, stop, don't do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, oops. So there's like still a couple like I guess unwritten rules that I have to kind of got used to, but overall, pretty awesome.
Oh. So with both of you with game development and you with what you're helping with HashStudios, how did you find yourself into that skill set, Mask? Those who haven't watched yours, and we're not meeting you, what got you into your skill sets, developing with Unity and Udon and stuff, and coding and all of that fun stuff?
Oh,
It's really. You want to go or what have you found? Okay, I'll go. It's really funny you mentioned that because I got into game development from him.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I got in from him, so
Oh, wow.
he's the reason I'm even here making stuff.
Cool.
Come on, Mike, work, please. Oh, there you go. So actually, initially, I was in the discovery phase, where I was kind of doing everything, a little bit of everything. I was kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with life, kind of figure out, like, I knew I wanted to be in the tech industry, but I just didn't know what. So I tried doing like software development, a little bit of web development, game development, and then I tried doing went into like scripting, automations, and then eventually I became a little bit of everything. Now I'm heavily focused on cloud, so like things like AWS, Azure. So you can basically label me as like a jack of all trades. So because of that skill set, and also another thing, I'm really shy, and Par is the opposite of me in all aspects of personality-wise. And I also realized that I worked with Par in a lot of projects outside of VRChat as well, and I just realized that we specialize in completely different things. So if we work together, like my strength is his weakness, and his weakness is my strength. So it was a no-brainer just to work together.
Oh, wow. So, Mask, what are your strengths, Mask?
Oh,
I'd say it's tricky because they does still overlap, right? But I'd say mine's more in terms of like, let's say compliance and legal and marketing, and in terms of just like being social, the big one. I'm also big on like front end visualization, how things feel for the user experience is a big one.
Yep. For me, I would say I'm more detail oriented. I like building systems a lot more, and I don't like being on the spotlight. So I am actually shaking because the camera's on me. So for most, so you can already tell just by that. Like we're complete opposites, and that's like the best part about this relationship. I don't have we're not stepping on each other's toes. We're kind of just in sync when it comes to ideas, brainstorming, and it's really cool. It's really fun.
Well, I wouldn't say we're complete opposites. By the way, I love how like now I'm just thinking in my head every time you point the camera at him, he's just shitting his pants.
Well, now that I know that, let's make the rest of this podcast all about Cookie. Cookie, who are you?
All about Cookie.
I'm joking. I'm sorry.
He's like looking at me for help. He's like, "Oh, help me!"
Get out of here right now.
No, sometimes my mic is not working. And this is my third piss bottle. I swear to God, guys, calm down.
What? A piss bottle?
A piss bottle. Oh no.
That's kind of interesting that you got
Whatever.
into development from someone who came into VRChat after you did. That's interesting. How did that all happen?
Well, in terms of business, I think it's you have to find someone you can heavily rely on, someone you can trust, and trust is kind of built over years and how much you guys help each other out, and like, it's established over time.
Yeah.
And it's just that me and Cookie have like a very long history together in terms of, as he said, right, we worked on projects besides just VRChat ones. And that kind of experience and the fact that I've known him since, I was in my teenage years, it definitely makes him a really good option, especially considering he's very logical. He works in my weaknesses. We also still, even though we have different personalities, we still heavily agree on a lot of things. I think it's a great reason to have him on board.
Oh. Okay. So, how did you get into everything?
There you go. I'm finally here. I don't know why my mic keeps going in and out, but he's making me blush. But anyway.
Oh, you're welcome.
But for me, yeah, honestly, it's just curiosity. A lot of I'm a very curious person. So I like to see how things work under the hood. So that's why I'm always just deep diving into things. And then after I get bored, it's like, oh, time to learn something new. And then there I am, looking into something else.
Oh.
So, and then for me, my chapter right now is VRChat and cloud. So there's those two.
Cool. That's very interesting. This amounts for the both of you as well. For doing this kind of project, running a company within VRChat, what are some hurdles you weren't expecting to run into? And what are some things people who wish to do the same should look for and when doing it?
I've heard this advice from full-on, CEOs that I've talked to that have managed way bigger companies than us, and that is systemization, right? Having systems in place, both hard and soft, so not that both technical and not technical kind of systems in place help kind of automate everything, because as I mentioned, burnout's possible. It's very easy to become more sloppy on your work and to go ahead and fall down like a drift almost, where you're so overwhelmed you don't know what you're doing. At first it's great, but then a year in you're like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Systemization kind of is amazing for that. I think there's a saying that says like, you fall to the level of your systems, not to the rise of your passion.
Efforts or something.
I'm getting the quote wrong, but it's similar to that kind of quote.
That makes sense.
That's what I heavily recommend.
So, systemization, would you mind elaborating a bit? What do you mean by that for those like me who have smooth brains and no wrinkles?
It's interesting because it's interesting because you even do systems right now. Like when I mean systems, I just mean a broad like kind of terminology of like, hey, how do you go ahead and operate? And is there like a specific way of operating? And is there specific parameters in place in how you operate? So for instance, Lion, before this podcast, you were telling me that you like edit certain days of the week, right?
Yeah. Usually that's on Fridays is when I'm doing that editing.
Mm-hmm. So you have a specific system in place where on Fridays you go ahead and edit videos. So it's kind of almost like a habit or a sort of, thing you have set in stone,
Okay.
And that's kind of what I necessarily mean by systems. I just mean a broad example of that.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. And with the second part of the second
Sorry,
part of the question.
I'm back.
Ooh, hi, hi back.
You're good.
Oh,
I'm lying.
another way to kind of just to add on to what he's saying.
Hmm.
A good way to put it is blueprints. Just making
Yeah.
sure you have something that's already defined for the things you want to do. So in the event, oh god, no, I'm disconnected. No, come
No,
back.
we can hear
Am I
you.
back? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
welcome back. We can hear you.
I would say something where another person can replicate, even if you're not there.
Hmm.
So that's basically what a system is to me.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think I think both of that is like a good combination to define this, actually. So yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Oh. So, what are some of the hurdles you've encountered through HashStudios, and how'd you overcome them? So people in VR who wish to follow somewhere out can at least learn a bit from you from what you've encountered.
Time management. That's my biggest one, right? It is
Ah.
time management for literally anything. Hey, when are we doing an event? How do we plan for that event? Hey, when are we partnering with this community? How are we going to talk with them? When are we going to do it? Hey, when are we releasing this product? When are we meeting this contractor? When are we talking to developers? A lot of scheduling. That's the time management and scheduling is the biggest hurdle, but the best system in my opinion.
Actually, just to add to that, I think a good one would be project management skills. Having the ability to kind of get everyone on the same page and get everyone to, I guess, focus their efforts. Kind of like instead of like, I would say a good way to kind of a metaphor would be like, let's say you're playing Minecraft and you're like digging. If you dig in a circle, you're not really gonna get anywhere far. But if you dig in a straight line, you're gonna be able to kind of laser your way to reach the end of where you're trying to get to. You know what I mean? So being able to kind of get everybody on the same path and same vision and same goal as you kind of speeds things up like tremendously. Instead of just being generic and one person's doing this thing and another person's doing something else. Everyone kind of is on the same page, which is the cool part.
Oh. Well, with these things such as time management and project management, is this some? Did you guys encounter any of this before HashStudios, or HashStudios kind of the first semblances of you had to run into these, solve them?
I've
School was probably like a big one. Time management was a big enemy that I had to overcome, I would say. Project management as well. They both kind of factor in. I would like to think of like all the assignments and things that you got to do as a project. And sometimes you're able to do it with a team, and sometimes you have to do it by yourself. And depending on what your goals are, you kind of have to pick the most optimized strategy, the most efficient strategy to get where you want to be. They kind of carried over. It was a. I'm surprised how, I guess, flexible that one skill can really travel around your life. It kind of gets applied everywhere.
Oh.
Oh my god, everything good?
You all right over there?
Buddy?
I'm just readjusting. I'm chilling. So I was locked, and then I took off the headset, put it back in, and then I'm all the way across the world. So.
Oh. What about you? Did you have any experience with
Did
any
I-
of this
did I-
prior? Yeah,
did I accidentally dab when I pointed?
You dabbed, I dabbed too.
Perfect. We have that on recording. You can use that against me as blackmail. But Cookie, do a dab. You gotta do it now. With the one arm. With the one arm, do it. Let's go. Now we both have blackmail material. No, but what was I gonna say? Your question.
Did you have any experience with the reason why you mentioned time management and project management? Did you have any experience with this prior, or was HashStudios the first time you had to tackle that as a hurdle?
No, in a lot of game development, especially at school when I work with teams, I managed a lot of teams and a lot of projects of games to be released, and because of the short deadlines we had and how few people knew Unity or Odon, that's like a big thing is where I had to help them understand Unity and work on this project from ground zero. That's where I learned heavily in terms of project management, as Cookie was saying, and time management in terms of like, hey, how do we get this all done by the end?
Oh, okay. So now with Game Studio, since you guys sounds like you went to college for this, are you leaning into HashStudios to be where you wish to go, or are you guys doing this as a fun little side project?
College, that's funny. Drop out over here.
Yeah, guys,
Funny
I'm the
enough.
smarter one. All right.
Yeah, exactly. He's the big, of course, yeah. So for me, I would say HashStudio is more of a side thing for now. Ideally, I want it to be the primary thing that I want to work on. Mainly because it's a lot funner than work. Work is always gruesome, and you shed blood and sweat and tears every day for that. But for this one, is a lot more creative. So for me, definitely want this to be right now. It's secondary, but definitely primary one day.
For me, it's primary because it's basically my child. Basically everything I've kind of made for the last 2 years, I'll put in one. But it's still like on equal level with everything else. Like I have side jobs. This isn't my main job. And so it's I guess it could be technically secondary, but with the amount of time I put into it, I put it on equal levels. But I do want it to be primary thing. I do want it to be the big thing because, as I've mentioned before, just the joy and the idea of what we make helping people, and not just that, but improving the world. And there's a lot more purpose, creation, and creativity, and what is it? What's the word? Adapt. Like there's a lot more control too. When you work at like a separate business, you don't necessarily have your voice heard, especially if it's huge because they have so many systems in place. But with what we do, in terms of listening to our, the people that work with us and what I want and what even Cookie wants, we can all kind of mash it together and kind of get our voice out there in terms of, hey, what can we make to make everything better?
Okay. And when you talk about this, ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, sorry. I just agreeing. Oh.
So, it's okay.
Just stare blankly at the camera.
So when you guys tell people about HashStudios outside, how do you often describe HashStudios who may not know?
I describe it as a VR software company. That's like the best way I could possibly describe it without like, and then they ask more questions and then I explain it. But if I started off with, I do also say like, we're a software company for the VRChat platform, but then people kind of misinterpret it and say, oh my God, you work for VRChat. Or like, no, it's equivalent of saying we make software on Roblox. It's not it's on Roblox, not for them. So that's usually why I just kind of boil it down to VR software company.
Okay. Well, now when you describe it that way to people, or like VRChat and what you do here, do they take you seriously, or how do you often approach that? Do they kind of, sorry, broad question.
No, you're good. You're good. No, you're good. You're good. I think they see the passion in my eyes, so they partially believe me. they think, oh man, this guy's kind of crazy too. But they think the idea is very cool. From what I've heard, the outside reception is really nice, even if they don't understand VRChat as a platform or how VR necessarily works, because we're just talking about anyone on the street, right? Yeah. But they like the idea that we're growing, we're working, and we're kind of doing well. Success is always, I would say, looked favorably upon.
Oh, okay. What about you, Cookie?
Zoomed in on his face.
I zoomed in on his face.
Your mic's not working, Cookie. Oh, did the controller officially die? That like the mic isn't working anymore?
Test. Hello, is it working?
You're
Hello,
live.
Yeah,
hello.
you're good.
Test.
You're good.
Oh my God, it took forever just to get the mic to work. Sorry. I guess for me, I like to envision it as well, right now it's a VR, like a VR software company, but I want it that's specifically towards VRChat. I want this to be bigger than that. Uh, Eventually, I want to kind of target things, other domains that are outside of VRChat, things like, for example, education
Hmm.
or government or training, where we're able to actually provide a lot more value to the general public. Because right now it's very niche. VRChat is very niche. It's like a small group of people, a very small like subset of people in, like, I guess, the world sense. But I want to provide a lot more value.
Okay.
So for right now it's small, but we have big plans, and that's where I'm hoping to eventually get. So it's not just a VR company; it's going to be the VR company. That's where I'm hoping to eventually get.
Oh. Now, where does
Yeah.
it you both of you hope HashStudios goes? What are some of your next steps you're going? What can some people look forward to with HashStudios?
So the products that we have are pretty big, and we don't want to leak too much. But considering that we're trying to go beyond just VRChat, of course, we're still going to be within the VRChat space. Because you guys are the ones that made us. Um, we do want to kind of expand, as Cookie said, to different domains. We want to work on more bigger projects in the same way that we're helping developers now. We want to help developers, creators, videographers, YouTubers, as many people as possible in terms of the field of VR and creation.
Oh.
So that's if you can kind of see that general theme, that's kind of where we're going.
Okay. So, what when Hash was created? Was that the general idea, or was that something that developed over time, the wanting to branch out of VRChat?
It's something that definitely developed over time because, it's something that we work heavily within VRChat, and that's great. But if we can expand our domain beyond it, not only can we, help more people, but then we can kind of take what we got outside of VRChat and put it back in. So, for instance, all the cloud stuff that wouldn't even be an idea if it was just focused on VRChat, for instance. So being able to expand to those different kind of areas is like a mutually helping each other type of sense of categories.
Oh. So, if this is something developed over time, was there any specific moments that caused this shift?
I'd say it'd be like, there's like two pivotal moments. One of them being like doing a year in within the business and being like, oh man, we got to systemize, we got to make things more organized. And I'd say it's three things. So it was the workload, it was the things slowly progressing and expanding. The second one was when we got into marketing, right? We made a bunch of marketing videos. Some of them are even on your videos, Lion, which thank you so much for that, by the way.
No problem.
But like I thanked you, in private, but I want to thank you here on camera too. But essentially, like ever since we got into that space as well, we're like, oh man, this is what it's like for creators to make videos, to do voice recordings, to create music, to go beyond this. And then another point being when Cookie joined, which is essentially his domain expertise being beyond game dev, helped kind of expand what we're going towards, and made it easier in my eyes of like, hey, what's the vision going forward for this expansion, and how do we kind of, help everyone in the process.
So, are there any of your products that are currently available that were in I guess, a trial towards that goal? Anything that's out right now for people to know about?
We made some water shaders that goes beyond just our regular coding, our regular Udon coding, and that one can also be applied to a variety of different projects. It's not just VRChat, even though it's still VRChat focused. You can still use that outside in other Unity projects. We are working on other like cloud-based software that can be used by any creator. That was the idea. And we have a few more ideas in mind. I don't want to spill them all, but that's the general focus we're going for.
Oh, what was it trying to gear into what you are currently working you can't talk about, but just to get a rough, just as a question. And with some of the things you mentioned, like the water shaders as an example, did you ever see any use outside of VRChat?
Yeah, water shaders are, it's more of a testing ground for us because, hey, we don't really know shaders. How do we go ahead and hire someone that does know shaders? Or how do we learn shaders on our own? And that was kind of our stepping stone, right? So we kind of saw it as a stepping stone and an expansion at the same time. And in terms of the shaders, there's a lot of water level shaders, but one, we need water shaders for some of our products because we make swimming systems, for instance. And we were very big on copyright protection and IP protection. So we don't want to just take someone's water shader and then just put it in our product. That's really scummy in my opinion. So this was kind of a multi-process of, hey, we need water shaders. Hey, water shaders can go beyond just VRChat. And also, we want to expand beyond just Udon development. So that's kind of, it was multiple things pointing towards that.
Okay, so I'm gonna test your marketing ability now. How is your water shader and swimming systems differ from what else is out there available?
You can get the free one, and it's just one color you can easily change, and it has a basic water shader. We have a shader pack as well, which is relatively cheap. That has multiple different kinds. We have swamp water, lava, magma, regular water. We have like the different shades of water. You can think of Minecraft oceans and the different kind of biomes of water. We have that. So seawater, pool water, all that.
Oh wow.
But they're all very similar variations of each other. I don't want to make it sound like we have completely separate, amazing, sets of packs of shaders. They're very, very similar. They're like variations of each other. In terms of what was your second question?
How do they differ from what else is out there available, Mask?
Well, one, they come with our stuff already, but two, being it's it's free, it's easy, it's simple. We kind of follow the same tradition of, hey, let's make it as humanly simple as possible, but for shaders.
Oh, now was the water shader your first attempt at working with shaders, Mask?
Yeah, it was because I've worked with other shaders in Unity. I'm no shader magician. I'm no shader wizard. So I would say it's my first project working on serious shaders. It was the developer I worked with, like, fourth time at that point working with shaders. But it was both of our first times working with a VRChat specific shader, like a shader that also works in VRChat. So
okay, so with building this shader from scratch, I only know the ones like most people use, like Pyomi and stuff. What is it like building something like a water shader from scratch? How does it work? And how is it like trying to learn how to do it?
It's very different. It's immensely different from the regular way of making udon, and it's immensely different from going beyond udon to, let's say, cloud. So it's you kind of have to go from a completely logical to a logical and artistic sense. And in terms of that, it's like a whole different field. It's a field within itself. Best way I could describe it. You cannot be a programmer and suddenly understand shaders. You can't suddenly know shaders and understand programming. They do mix though very well. They mix a lot.
Well, so how is normal coding and shader coding similar and different? I've never worked with it, so that's why I ask.
By the way, just letting you know, I do have to be heading out in like 10. But
sorry about that.
no, you're good. Just want to let you know the time. In terms of what is it? In terms of shaders, sorry, what was your question? I lost it.
How is shader code and Unity or regular code different? You said they're similar but different.
Yeah, they have completely different systems in place. One of them uses just the regular Unity API. Another one uses a massive amount of math to go ahead and have visuals show up. One of them's focused on the logic of game objects and how they interact with each other and how the player interacts. Another one focuses heavily on the math of, let's say, a player or a movement or how a visual works. Oh, I'm gonna. Give me 1 sec.
Of course. Oh, the last time I saw you here, Novid, was October.
Yeah, absolutely. That ghost ship was definitely something, to say the least. But we're here now.
Here to tell you something amazing. Right now, PJKT application is open till May 12th. So if you go right down the description, which will give you to a Discord, discord.gg/PJKT, we'll have all the information you need to sign up for your community, your creators. We're open to communities, creators, and people building things, and content creators as well. Everything is right down in the Discord, right for you. What else do we have here? What is PJKT, Novid?
Well, PJKT is a virtual convention here in VRChat that holds many different types of events within Project Fest, from film showcases with Project Lens, from developer talks with Project Inc., as well as many live performances and many different events held by the community through our events applications forums as well. It'll also be down in that Discord, discord.gg/PJKT. So, of course, make sure to go check it out.
Most definitely. And PJKT this year is going to be June 27th through July 7th. So mark it down in your calendars. We'd love to see you there. See you this summer, folks.
I wonder if we can ride the train and go inside the fucking over there. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. How big that wall is.
Goes
though.
in there and goes around. Why? And it goes around.
Oh, it does. Holy shit.
Fuck yeah, it goes fucking around. I don't know where it goes. Like I said, I just got here. I don't know where everything is.
Huh.
We'll have to check this place out.
Definitely. We're going to have to.
There's another one. There's another one I got to show you that it's called the, yeah, hold on. Another one is called the Cozy Woods. That one's cool.
Oh, okay. We're definitely going to check that out, too. There's a bunch we're going to have to check out.
Yeah, there's some new ones in.